Earlier today, and I've made this somewhat of a theme of much of what I've talked about today, was I mentioned the waiver clause on page 6. And I talked about the authority given to the Homeland Secretary that was vague and overbroad. In the First Amendment I offered, I attempted to remove that clause, that offending clause altogether, but that was rejected by my Democrat colleagues. So the next I offered an amendment that would basically rein it in a little bit so there'd be some transparency so that he would have to report when he grants waivers of the grounds of inadmissibility, that would have to be reported on the internet. We could all see that. We would know the extent of what they were doing. That was rejected as well. So I'm left now with dealing with what some people have called over the years the development of the regulatory state or the development of the administrative state, the fourth branch of government. I find it interesting. Just ironic, about an hour ago, I got a text from a constituent just talking about this individual was not watching this hearing, but just said, hey, you know what? One of our biggest problems is the runaway bureaucracy, the authority that's out there underneath the executive branch. And of course that individual is exactly right. And this is a prime example of it. You're giving unbridled authority in many respects to an unelected official, and you're not giving any accountability. The opportunity to have accountability, you rejected. So now I'm left saying that we need to bring the Article I powers back. We've got to find some way to constrain the executive branch. So the Homeland Secretary is going to promulgate rules. They're going to issue guidance, policies, and memorandum. And I am seeking oversight. You didn't want to do oversight. I'm seeking clarity and responsibility and the Article I authority be brought back to us. Mercatus Center estimates that the Code of Federal Regulations, for instance, has grown 2.5 times larger over the past 50 years. This is going to happen here, but a lot of it is going to be under the radar. You won't even see it as they promulgate rules and provide what Madison defined as tyranny, which is you're going to see an implementation of a law, you're going to see adjudication of the law, all wrapped up into one entity. In this instance, it's going to be the Homeland Security Secretary. What my amendment does is it says, look, if you promulgate a rule, if you promulgate policy, memoranda, or guidance, before that can take effect, you have to bring it back to the parties who are actually accountable to the people, Congress, and then we would approve or reject that. That seems to me the only place left to go after you rejected my previous two efforts to provide constraint and oversight here. So I'm going to continue pushing this. I think not in just committee, but throughout all committees, we need to be thinking about restoring Article I authority. Now, the other part of it too is, as the administrative state has grown like Topsy, so has the funding to support the administrative state and its many activities. And until we start constraining that, I know a lot of people in this room probably don't even think that's a problem, but until we start constraining their activities and the funding of those activities and hold them accountable, we're going to continue to exacerbate the national debt. So with that, Mr. Chairman, I urge everyone to support this amendment, and I'll yield back.